Bruce Johnson from Wired to Grow here, and welcome to this week's edition of Bruce TV. Now, this week's question comes from Barry Wood, who asked the question, what qualities make somebody a successful leader? Great question. Now, while there are probably 30 plus great qualities of great leaders, if you were to push me and say, okay, what are the top 5? Well, here would be my list of my top 5 qualities of great leaders. Number 1, they're really good at clearly defining the right preferred future. Now, there are an awful lot of people who have the title leader who really don't have a vision. They really don't know what that preferred future is. And leadership, by definition, is a forward-leaning practice. It's about the future. In order to lead somebody, you need to be taking them somewhere. And unfortunately, a lot of people with the title leader aren't leading people anywhere because they're not even clear where that future place is. So the first thing is that they really have this ability to pick out and say, that's where we're going. But you notice I used the phrase, the right preferred future. And I did that because there are leaders who will pick out of the options, the myriad of options, an option to say that's the preferred future, but it's not always the right one. The most popular one right now as I'm recording this would be Ron Johnson, who just got ousted out of JCPenney. He had a clear vision about the future, it was just the wrong one. Right? So great leaders have this ability out of the myriad of options to look and say, not that one, not that one, not that one, but that's the one. And they pick the right one, and it's clearly defined so that everybody knows exactly what that is. They're great strategists in essence. So that would be number 1. They have this ability to clearly define the right preferred future. The second quality would be this. The great leaders have this ability to cast vision in a way that just inspires people and causes them to believe in the cause. That they see that their work, as I mentioned last week in last week's edition, isn't just about work, that it's about something bigger. And if you watch last week's, you know that vision leaks fast. And so great leaders know that they have to cast vision all the time, every week. So when they see somebody, and let's say they're working on a settlement and they're doing all the paperwork, a great leader says, you know, you're not just filling out paper there. You're helping a family get their dream home so that they can build time with their family so they can raise up their kids. And so you cast this vision about what they're doing, not just filling out paper. If you're seeing somebody who's working in your environment and they're thinking, I'm just building this machine, then you have to remember that this machine goes into something which is going to help other people accomplish whatever that thing would be. So you're always looking at what they're doing and saying, how can I put this in a context that's bigger so that they realize that what they're doing is more important. That they're not just, for example, putting together the company picnic, but what they're really doing is they're helping facilitate relationships among the people who work here so that we can communicate that we care about them, we love them, that they're valued players on our team, right? You just make it bigger. Whatever the person's doing, you're always figuring out how can I help them see something beyond the actual task. And all great leaders do this all the time. So that'll be number 2. They're great vision casters. If I had to pick a third one, it would be that they're good recruiters and team builders. In other words, they're really good about saying, in order to get more stuff done here, right? Because leaders are people who get results through other people. I've got to assemble the best team I possibly can. And so great leaders have this ability to look around and find where the talented people are and then recruit them so that they come on the team. There are a lot of people who have people on their team, but they're just not the right people and they're not the talented people. But great leaders look for great talent and they're able to recruit it. They also get rid of all the C and D players because they know that in order to build a great team, you got to have all A players or a couple B players who you think can in fact become A players. So all great leaders are great at recruiting and building a team of talented people. That would be number 3. If I had to pick a fourth one, it would be this, that they're all great talent developers. All great leaders not only look at the people that they have, but they figure out in order to get more things done, I've got to take the talent here and I've got to make it even better. And so they're always figuring out how do I develop the people on my team. And that means that they have a plan for everyone on their team. They're always thinking about week in, week out, month in, month out. How can I help Joe? How can I help Sally? How can I help Jamal get better at what they do? In fact, when I was at my former career in the church, every year we would have one of those strength bombardment days, and I did it in different ways, but basically everybody in the team was to say something positive about everyone else on the team, and we did it in different ways. So sometimes it was spoken, sometimes written, etc. Almost every year, to the person, usually the one that would come back to me was something along these lines. You made me better, or you brought out of me things I didn't think I had, or frequently There were times I didn't like it, but I know I'm better because you drew it out of me. And to me, that's what great leaders do, right? Great leaders are talent developers. They're teachers. They look at their people on the team and they say, how can I pull out of them what they don't even see that they're capable of doing? And so that would be number 4, the great talent developers. And then if I had to pick a 5th one, it would probably be this, that they're great leveragers of that talented team, and they get them to get stuff done, right? That they're always good at execution. But it's not just getting stuff done, it's taking that team of people and figuring out, how do I create synergy among this group of people so that they get more things done, and at the same time, this is about leverage, they have this ability to think about, what am I currently doing that I can then entrust to somebody else on my team? This is delegation, not dumping. That I can entrust to someone on my team so that they can take that. Now the leader is leveraging their time because now they're able to work on something different and they're developing another person. So great leaders are really good about leveraging talent by getting them to execute, not just work synergistically, but some of their own work. So if I had to pick 5, those would probably be the 5. That first of all, they're really good at strategy, defining the right preferred future. Secondly, they're really good at casting vision. Thirdly, that they're really good at building a team, then talent development, and then finally, they're great at execution and the leverage of that execution. So what I encourage you to do is take a look at those 5 things. Evaluate yourself. How are you doing at creating that preferred future, right? Are you clear about it? Is it the right one? How are you doing at talent development? How are you doing at casting vision? How are you doing at recruiting the right people? Are you really developing a virtual bench so that you know that if someone leaves your team, here's the person you're going to bring on, or if you're going to open up a position, you already know who you're going to bring on because you're always developing that virtual bench. And then finally, how are you doing at delegating, leveraging people, and making sure that they get more stuff done? So those would be 5 great qualities that are true of all great leaders. Hopefully they help you. If you have a question, make sure you submit it using the link next to the video. And then make sure you join us for next week's edition of Bruce TV. Until then, to your accelerated success, Bruce out.